Time to start hauling straw. There's my cold start. N14 Cummins. It would be about, I think, 8 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And so all my extension cords are plugged in, or are frozen in, so I couldn't plug it in last night. So, well, we'll let this warm up and then I'll come back and we'll cut some straw. Now you can see my speedo doesn't work, but I'm going 60 miles an hour because that's as fast as I can go. But we'll go get some straw. Anyhow, we got forecast for freezing rain tomorrow and then 4 inches of snow, so it's important to get at least one load of straw hauled today. If we can, I'd like to get 2 loads hauled. But a friend of mine is going to have his hired man bring a tractor from his dad's place, so the tractor will only have to come from 4 miles away, so hopefully it all works out. John Deere 6300. Big spares are 100 times easier to truck than rounds. That's why everyone uses them. This whole southern Alberta is full of them because a lot of hay goes to dairies and they are fine with it. And then everything that gets exported to Japan or Texas is all in big squares originally, and then they compress it even smaller. Some on pallets too. So you can see some snow has melted. So, got straps out and ready to throw them. Just gotta push that bale up there and we'll get it figured out. So, my friend's hired man was sent over here to bring a tractor, so it's handy. One of the internationals just turned away, waiting for its turn to go 60 miles an hour down the road again. I had 2 DOTs follow me and they didn't pull me over, so I was a happy boy. All strapped down and ready to give her. 2 straps for every bale is the rule, so I had 2 DOTs follow me, so I'm gonna make sure I put my 2 straps per bale. So most guys around here haul 4x4s 3 wide, but it's an old trailer. I'll just go 2 wide and make more trips. So, as you can see, I put the length on the strap, so I don't have to dig through and try to decide which are my 30s and which are my 40s. So, time to pick this pig and get going. Well, we're got all the straps off, except this last one. When I strapped this one, I had to use this other one, this hook here, and then I just looped the strap over so it would bite on the straw. But you have to have 2 straps per bale, so that was the easiest way to do things. So you can see the cows are telling me, feed me, feed me, but it's not time to feed them yet. That's this afternoon's job. It's kind of hazy. It was supposed to warm up today and get above freezing, but so far it hasn't done it. So I'm sure everyone that wants to has rolled up plenty of straps. So, but I show you everything I do, so I might as well show this too. anyhow, this little strap roller is kind of handy. I used to roll them by hand, and then I got tired of that. And you gotta make sure this door shuts, because one time I had one of the boys shut it, and I was driving around and looking at, I was turned around this field with a load of bales, and then I was barreling down the highway, and I looked through my mirror and saw the door had bounced open. When we got pulled over, we thought everything was okay in there, but then we found out we were missing a strap, and it was right back in the field where we turned around. So anyhow, the lighting's not very good. But we're not about making professional videos. More about just showing what's going on. So there's frozen snow, or I guess basically ice underneath where I'm driving right now. That's where I flip my bales up to cut the twine on. So it's gonna be fairly rough, but it'll be okay. Anyhow, I was very happy to get this one load home. I'd like to haul more, but it's a lot handier to not have to take the tractor to go load. So the way it worked out for my friend's chores at his dad's place was that I could get a load this morning, and then what I'm going to try to do is I can call him tonight and see if I can get a load again tomorrow in the morning. But we are in a weather advisory, so I'm hoping it's wrong though. Sorry to bounce you guys around. I was trying to push these glasses up on my face a little bit more. But I wanted to haul this load earlier, and then on last video I talked about hauling a load, but I couldn't get the truck out of the ice. So I had to chip the tires, around the tires out, and then I had to get the four-wheel drive tractor and a long chain and and I just drug the trailer right out onto the gravel road. And I just had Wyatt sit in the truck, and then I just told him which way to turn the steering wheel, and I just pulled them out onto the gravel road, and then the truck ended up being parked basically on the driveway for 2 days until I could get this load figured out. And it took us a while to get all the snow off the deck too. It was pretty miserable. So oh man, you can't see nothing here. Hang my head out the back. Anyhow, so it just sat there on the driveway between the round pen and the cattle liner. So it was kind of a in the way kind of thing, but my wife's pretty understanding. The hay bales there are all third cut that I hauled when I was bringing the pea straw. I've been introducing third cut hay into their ration, and slowly but surely we'll get them. Third cut's a little hotter hay, and I think this stuff's okay, but I still go slow at it. I don't give them all third cut hay right away. There's just not enough heat units for it to get, you know, I guess it's so fine, it's beautiful. That's why the dairies love third cut hay. We just don't have enough heat units to grow a big third cut. And to get a third cut hay, you got to cut first and second on the early side. But like I said, it's more expense to do it all, but if you look at my cows, they're not skinny either. At one time we used to wait and try for 2 good cuttings, and that works, but paying to cut and rake and the time to go out and do it and haul the bales, it's advantageous to make better quality hay and spend the extra money. This straw is worth quite a bit of money. A real shortage out there. We just, southern Alberta, I think they said 75% of all the cattle in Canada are finished in southern Alberta, and so all those feedlots need straw. So, and I know a lot of, like, the local feedlot desk down the road, he was looking for 1,000 bales here a month or so ago, and they are paying $100 a ton delivered in. But they only want big squares because that's how they've set their operation up, because in southern Alberta, except for ranchers, everything's big squares. The export market's all in squares. I mean, they're just trucker friendly. You just slap them down, strap them. Like rounds, it's a pain in the ass to call them, but squares are good. And like I said, and now a lot of guys are going 3x4s because they can get their weights better. Like if you're going into BC or something, you can go 3 wide and you can get your weight figured out and still make it through the tunnels. About 20 years ago, a couple 3x3s showed up, but they didn't last very long. They weren't very well received. They're too small. If a guy's going to make a big bale, he might as well go 4x4, and then, like I said, then the 3x4s kind of come out, and then that gave opportunity for guys that didn't want to make a big bale, you know, and then really it was for figuring out axle weights. If you had a 3x4, you could get your axle weights a little closer. And now with like crone balers and stuff, now there's no such thing as hay trucks going around hauling light because they compress so much. But it used to be guys would be trucking hay and they'd get a dairy up. Well, I hauled a bunch or sold a bunch of hay up to Edmonton one time, and the guy had to come back and he tried to get me to lower the price because the trucking was killing them, because the bales were so light that they were only hauling 14 ton on a tri-axle trailer. And I said, that's not my problem. I wanted you to come look at the bales. I told you how much they weighed. It's not my fault the trucker told you that they would weigh more, because I knew what they weighed. So, but a lot of guys trucking hay, same thing. They get dairies further north that want good third cut or good dairy quality hay, and then they would still have to, the trucking would eat it up because they couldn't get enough on the truck. But like I said, with crone balers and other, you know, I mean, even the Massey baler, they make a tighter bale than they did years ago to be competitive, so they haul way more. And even these straw bales, I know a guy further east of me, and he puts these straw bales, he does 4x4, and then he puts them in, and it's organic straw, and he puts it into just regular van trailers. He's got a little chute and he puts it four wide, and they just push them into a van trailer, and they go down to the States, and they basically use the straw in some type of a plant growing, like a nursery, or I don't know if it's in greenhouses or what, but they'd use the straw, but they wanted organic straw. And so he always laughed is how hard it was to try to find organic straw that didn't have weeds in it. And so he said that there was plenty of good clean straw that got taken that wasn't maybe as organic as it was supposed to be, because it was pretty impossible to find. So he did his best, but he said there's occasionally, he did a lot of custom baling, and so occasionally, you know, you'd need 4 more bales for the load, and you got what was in the yard, because it was so hard to find clean organic stuff. But his straw bales were weighing 1,500 pounds. So these ones weigh 12, but they, you know, that fine straw packs more. Like, these are all out of a rotary combine, so the straw's crap, but with that little fine stuff you can pack it pretty good. So they said they weigh 1,200 pounds. But as you can see around the yard, there is snow like the snow's melted quite a bit. But like I said, where I cut my bales there, it's insulated, so it's not melting as quick. There was drifts where the semis parked that were right up to the rail, but I plowed that with the tractor after I moved the truck and did the best I could to try to clean up. This trailer's set up for hauling rounds, but it works really nice for squares, because where the pipes are that you put to keep your rounds tipped in so you hold your bales good, it's pretty easy. You just put your big square in and slide it ahead till you hit the pipe, and then, you know, it works pretty nice. Looks like I gotta answer the phone. Hold on. I'm off the phone now, so that was my sweetheart. So you don't let your sweetheart's phone, or when she calls, you don't let it go to the machine. Oh, I got a calf out. That's handy. Little bugger's gonna be a troublemaker, is he? This is about the time of year when that starts happening. These little guys start to want to wander. I'll have to check the fence. I'm sure the electric fence isn't working too good. I was hoping the snowdrifts would melt off of it, but they're insulated. It doesn't work. Tomorrow we're getting a load of corn. Fed up all the corn from the last load, so get another 700 bushels. Like I said, it's so weird, we hardly fed any grain this year in comparison to last year, but I should get all my dries gathered in and start graining them, because with the U.S. market flooding the cull cows are way down. Where usually March is your best time, but the market's flooded, so they're not worth nothing. And locally, there's only 2 buyers for cull cows, and so if they get enough, they can starve you out. The auction market I go to, one sits on one side, one sits on the other side, and then there's another guy that buys cheap cows. That he buys the cancer eyes and the hurt legs and, you know, the cripples, and he peddles them. He buys them up for nothing, and then he sells them. He's a Mexican Mennonite fellow, and he sells them to his other countrymen, and they grind them and make sausage out of them. But he makes a killing on them, because you know, longhorn cross garbage cow or, you know, cripple arthritic cow that comes in or something wrong with her, he buys, and he buys them for nothing, and then he resells it based on live weight. He resells and he makes a killing on it because those cows don't yield, so he gets to peddle them and make a lot of money. But like I said, on the real killed cow guys, there's 2 of them, and the market gets held in pretty tight because they can rein it in whenever they want. And when there's only one guy bidding, your auction market can only do so much. They can only own so many. They will bid against the buyers, but at the same time they don't do nothing they don't make money at. So if they bid up the other buyers and own the cows, they've got to be able to haul them to the packing plant and come out on it. And like I said, they don't ever lose. I shouldn't say they don't ever lose, but they make sure it's in their favor. But I know there's an old guy who's made his living for years and years and years bidding against JBS and those guys, and bidding against them, and then he cans the cows at JBS just the same as they do, and he's made a living doing it. So you know there's some wiggle room on these canner cows, because if you can buy them and turn $1, sell them to the same person that you bid against, there's money to be made. Years ago, we never sold anything at auction. We fed everything out, and everything went to at that time it was Burns Meats, and everything went to the packing plant. We sold everything on the rail. I guess the only thing we'd sell is canner bulls. So when the bulls were used up and it was time for them to go to town, they went to the auction market. Other than that, all of our calves were finished, and then we'd sort every fall, and all the cows that were looking old or time for them, their time to go, then we would sort them all off and put them on full feed. And then in about February, March, they'd all be ready. So there you go. Kind of a wiggly unload there, but that's all right. So there's 20 bales. So that'll help out, and hopefully I can figure out to get a load tomorrow too. Hopefully it doesn't storm like they're talking about. Actually, I better go loosen up some silage while I got the tractor going. My sweetheart's gone back to work, and she works just a few hours a day on a modified work with her ankle and stuff, so she just has to sit down. But I have to go pick her up from work at lunchtime, so snowdrifts were so bad I had to cut a hole in my fence to access the silage pile, because the snowdrift we couldn't get through. As you can see, it's just a smooth ride as can be. But my dad steers. Like I said, I've never got the feed truck's buried in the snow. You can't even get to it. So my dad's steers, I just mix the grain in at the pile with the loader bucket. So I like to get that silage ready, and then after lunch, when we start afternoon chores, then I'll go down to the grain bin and we'll put a dozen pails of grain in the loader bucket, and then I come mix it in with the silage. anyhow, you guys can see what the corn silage looks like. Dad went in with the blade after warmed up and pushed that away. That's why it looks so weird there. Like I said, lumpy, bumpy, lumpy, bumpy here. So, anyhow, I don't know, I should flip this around so you can see me or not. I guess it don't much matter, but be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and have yourselves a great day, and take care.